Okay, welcome back to the channel, everybody. So recently done a review video of the brand new Tour Edge Exotics 721 Pro driver, limited edition driver from Tour Edge. It was fantastic. The performance was great. I really enjoyed hitting it. So they're also offering a 3-wood, a fairway wood, as well as a hybrid. So I've got those in my hands today. I'm going to hit both of these in this particular video, give you some feedback and see if this is good at performing as it was with the driver, which was really good. Okay, so I'm going to kick things off with a 3-wood. So glued product here, no adjustability in the hosel straight away when I see this. 3-wood, 13 degrees of lofts. It's like a strong 3-wood this as well. There is obviously some different loft options available, but I've got the strong 3-wood in my hands here. So possibly an alternative off the tee maybe as an option, or those obviously long second shots into the wind, you know, a little bit more piercing the flight. So the Pro name that associated with this range of clubs is really aiming around getting that CG low and forward, a little bit more of that lower penetrating ball flight, a little bit of a lower spin. So typically more aimed at the golfer who maybe is in that single figure category, looking to get a bit more penetrating flight and probably has a bit of speed, a little bit like myself here, a little bit of club head speed, a little bit of ball speed to cope with that slightly lower spin characteristics. A little bit of technology we're going to talk about, but let's get one underway. I'm going to hit these off the ground as a bit of a true test, sort of a tightish lie off the mat here. So we'll hit these off the deck, see how easy it is to get this 13 degree 3-wood up and launched. Oh, that's delightful. That flew up quite easily. That's a lovely ball flight on that. Very straight. It's launched a 9, 3.5 and spin, 252 carry, 272 total. I'd say this is a 13 degrees, so they're actually offering 3-woods. Sounds strange, but we've got a 13 degree, a 15 degree, and then a 16.5, which effectively 6.5 is a bit like a 4-wood, isn't it? But they do call it a 3-wood. So 3 loft options there just to maybe dial in depending on, you know, how you feel of getting that ball off the ground. If you want a little bit more launch, a bit more loft, obviously that 6.5 could be a good option, or maybe if you want it as this sort of strong 3-wood as I've got it, that 13 is also there for you. So sitting that down by the ball, again, quite compact. It's a 160cc compact head, so a little bit more compact heel to toe, also from that front to back, as we saw with the driver. The driver was a 440, so a bit more of that smaller, compact appearance behind us. Sits beautifully square. We've got that matte finish there now. We can see the carbon wings, which sort of overlapping from the toe on the crown to the toe on the sole. Same in the heel section, so saving titanium weight, replace it with a lighter material of carbon, reposition that weight that they saved then in that little bit more low forward center sort of positioning, which does tend to create that low launch, a bit more low spin, that more penetrating ball flight than if you had a club with the weight more in that back section. Oh, that's a little bit low touch pulley, but I mean, it's going forward. Didn't quite see that strike, just a bit low in that club face. So that launch has come out a little bit low. It's one of those where you've not middled it, you're sort of scuttling it down there somewhere, but it's still getting out there. You know, it's one of those that you know you've not middled it, but it's done all right. That's a completely different ball flight there. More out of that toe strike. That's flown, spun up a little bit more of a launch, bit of a higher flight. So there's the differences of that strike, and a little bit of that face angle as well there for me. So we've also got some adjustability, some weight ports on the sole of the club, heel and toe, and again very forward to the front of the club face, so pushing that centre of gravity really down and forward. We've got 2 weights. We've got a 15 gram and also a 3 gram, and standard the 15 is positioned into that toe section, so a little bit more of a fade biased sort of makeup there. Generally the low handicap golfer who would be into this sort of club probably doesn't want to see a miss going left, so a bit more weight in that toe just slows it up, maybe just reduces that chance of it closing and getting that left miss. Obviously they are changeable, so if you're other way, you know, you're a bit more left to right and maybe you want to calm that a little bit, you can obviously swap these weights round. Oh, that's a good strike. Just turn that up the left hand side a tiny bit, but that was a better connection. Just slightly overdrew that touch. Obviously just squeezing a little bit more yardage through that slightly pulley drawy shot. But again, the feel's really good. I love the way it sits down by that golf ball. Maybe just haven't got that adjustability around the the neck sleeve here to, you know, maybe change lie and loft a little bit. But then again, you have got the 15 degree and the 16.5 degree as an option, but you have got that more that left to right sort of playability with the weights in the sole. A lot of technologies we've seen in the driver too much, you know, quickly going over this diamond face technology, so those multiple diamond patterns behind the club face on the inside of the golf ball, inside the club head should I say, is creating little hot spots, ultimately making ball speed good all around the club face, you know, for those slight miss hits. We've got weight diffuser system, so some little bars in there, it's breaking up sound waves, you know, with that carbon edge, so it does create a good acoustics on that connection. Oh, that's probably the best one of it. It's a lovely ball flight. Great sound, great feel off that club face as well. Obviously helps when you hit a slightly better club face delivery. Okay, so there's some hit with that 13 degree 3-wood. As I say, depending on how you deliver the club to the ball, your dynamic loft, you know, you've obviously got that 15 degree option if this is a little bit tougher off that fairway to hit, probably a little bit harder with that 13.5, and obviously you've got that 16.5 as degree as well. Let's move into that hybrid. Okay, so again, pro version, 721, we're now in the hybrid. I've got the 18 degree version, a little bit like a 2-iron sort of replacement in a way. First instinct is it's tiny. From front to the back, it is very, very slim. It's obviously not verging on an iron slimness here, but it's much thinner when you think of a normal hybrid. So very compact in that positioning there, really sort of small head. So obviously, again, that's allowing to push weight forward. You've got those two weights in the sole here. Again, 15 gram, 3 gram. They can be switched around. 15 sits in the toe as standard. Again, it's anti-left is probably their reason behind this. But definitely more forward, so again it's more that penetrating flight that you would see with a hybrid. Normal hybrids would tend to be sort of high launch, low soft landing. This again is a little bit different. Maybe if that player who has that bit of speed doesn't really need that help to launch it and just maybe wants that slightly more penetrating flight, this is going to be interesting. I do like the look of this. I like the compact head. It does feel like I'm not going to get up and floaty with this. It does feel like it's going to be a little bit more of a penetrating flight, and it really depends on what you want with a hybrid, to be honest. Yeah, touch bottom in the strike. I'm going to get picky, but it hasn't gone up there. You know, that's still moved forward on that ball flight, still launched relatively low there. Again, the strike was a touch low, and the spin's not huge there. So again, I think you could be using this on multiple occasions here. This could be another off the tee option here in relation to maybe instead of a 2-iron, maybe just a little bit easier than a 2-iron to hit, a little bit high launch than a 2-iron, but still in that sort of piercing sort of ball flight area. I think the look here is going to be a little bit, you're either going to like it or you're not. I don't think there's anything in between here, to be honest, with this look. It is a little bit different. It does remind me of the old Adams hybrid that they brought out in that sort of more boxy sort of toe end shaping of the actual head. That's a better strike. A little bit higher launch in there with that slightly better connection, but still isn't floaty. Definitely more of a forward movement there. God, carry there, 241. Let's get that launch right. Spins pretty good there. Again, it's a really good sort of feel. We don't see that carbon on there. Probably the head is literally probably isn't big enough now, so there's no carbon on this, but obviously we've got that weight down and forward, but still a really good sounding golf club. Very much similar technology. Diamond face again. We've got the sound diffusing there. We've got the shiftable weights on there. So very similar to what we've seen in that fairway wood. Ooh, so that's a bit of a toey one there. It's just turned over a little bit through that toe strike. So availability wise on the hybrids, we've got the models are actually called 17, 18, 19 and 20, and basically that refers to the loft. So we've got 17 degree, 18 degree, 19 degree, 20 degree. So there's literally only 1 degree difference between the 4 models that they are offering. So obviously you're not going to have all 4 of those in your bag. I would probably envision you maybe going to have 1, possibly 2, and that's probably about it for the type of golf this is sort of aimed at. A better player, maybe that, you know, 1 hybrid in there, whether that's an 18 or that 3, you know, obviously depends how that fits in with your bag makeup, doesn't it? So I'm not flushing that, but the flight's great. The flight comes out forward. There's no real ballooning of shots there, even though that spun a little bit higher, 4,000. I didn't see that really try and climb. It kept it sort of, maybe just stalled a tiny bit, but not really climbing in the air. I'm just going to hit 1 more shot with that. Feels like a club I could manipulate a little bit more as well. You know, if I want to hit one a little bit low, and say, oh, I'm just going to try and knock this one down a little bit, just move it slightly further back in the stance. Just try and feel like I can just control that dynamic loft a little bit more. That's the best one. That's an absolute bullet. Bit more playability with that, which again, typically that better player would want to sort of maybe see or have the option to do so when they are playing, where a lot of other hybrids longer from that front to the back, weight further back, it's always trying to pop the ball high with a higher spin. But again, this is aimed at that lower handicap golf, typically one with a little bit more speed. Okay, post comments down below, let me know your thoughts. Tour Edge, the Pro version, the 721, not readily available here in the UK. There is some stock here, so do go and search them out if you do want to have a little look at these, but generally more available in the US. Big on the US Senior Tour, Tom Lehman, Bernard Langer, they're the big boys sort of using this, as well as many others out there. Post comments down below, let me know your thoughts on Tour Edge, those two clubs. Is it possibly something you'd go and try? Love to hear your thoughts as always. If you haven't checked out the driver video, I'll pop a little link. It should be up around here somewhere. You can go and check that out and view that in a little bit more detail, and hopefully catch up with you all very soon.